Alright, what is up, guys? Forgot my tripod today, so I'm just kind of holding this by the hand manually. I know I haven't created a video in some time. I had planned to release a video every day in the month of June, but unfortunately sort of fell off the wagon on that one. But we are getting back on and plan to come out with a lot of content here in the coming days, pretty much every day that I can. Hopefully we don't have any more hiccups, but yeah, let's get right into it. So one thing that I was reminded of at work today, I think is very relevant to you guys trying to learn security, especially you guys are just starting out as well, and that is, but even the more veteran guys, I would say, could get some value from this, and that is, don't forget about the less flashy vulnerabilities. Don't forget about the lesser vulnerabilities, if you will, because I think when a lot of people learn about this stuff, when you seek out information on learning security and learning offensive security or whatever, a lot of times they put a lot of emphasis on the really big and like flashy vulnerabilities, just like SQL injection, remote code execution, those RCEs. Like the really big and flashy ones are what normally gets the most attention, maybe even some buffer overflows and stuff like that, anything that can lead to getting a shell and stuff, especially. Maybe it's like some file upload stuff where you're able to upload a shell to execute commands remotely. Those are the ones that get the most attention, and those are the ones, certainly if you do find that on a pen test, on the job, that's a huge thing, obviously, but most of the time, those are not the vulnerabilities that you're going to be finding like on a day-to-day basis. Once you start working in this field, once you start getting hands-on with real-world applications and real servers and stuff like that, oftentimes what you're going to find are vulnerabilities that are a little bit lower in criticality, but still worthy of reporting nonetheless. So for stuff like that, I'm referring to a lot, really. But it could be something as small as requests not having certain cookies or things like that in the header that allow certain attacks. Like maybe they don't prevent cross-origin resource sharing. That's a vulnerability, It's a lower ranked vulnerability than RCE, most certainly, but still worthy of reporting, and it's going to be one thing that you definitely need to look into if you want to be nice and thorough with all your pen tests. Another example is even sometimes cross-site scripting is overlooked because they're like, oh, well, it's true you can't get a shell off it most of the time, but that doesn't mean it's not worthy of reporting, right? Because obviously there's a lot of damage an attacker can do if you have that vulnerability present. Now, this really encompasses a lot of different stuff, but definitely take a look. I would say start with the OS top 10, but definitely look at those lower ranked in the top 10 vulnerabilities, Injection gets so much focus in this field, and injection vulnerabilities are good to test for, good to find, but there's a lot of other stuff that is definitely relevant if you can find it. This is what you're going to be reporting a lot more often. So making sure that the cookies are being properly checked, that it's accepting only valid cookie values. You can try to replay requests with, to test the session management, stuff like that, right? There's a lot of pretty thorough testing that you can do, and definitely dig a little bit deeper when it comes to this stuff. If you guys don't work in this field and you really want to work in this field, everyone's going to talk about in the interview how they looked into SQL injection and, it's like just injection vulnerabilities in general, maybe like cross-site scripting and stuff like that. Everyone's going to be able to speak to that for the most part, but not everyone is going to be able to talk about these lesser-known vulnerabilities, the session management, stuff like that, right? Cross-origin resource sharing. Just trying to think off the top of my head here, maybe a potentially risky HTTP method is supported, like put or delete. These are things that you can test for. You can use Nmap scripts to test for the HTTP methods and stuff like that. And you can use Nmap for a lot of things. You can really enumerate services when you start going through some of those Nmap scripts using the Nmap scripting engine. You can even run some default scripts. Maybe you have some go-to scripts that you use. Definitely be thorough with your testing and look for those smaller things. That's why they call it low-hanging fruit. You're not always going to find, and you're not usually going to find low-hanging fruit. Sometimes we just gotta, as attackers, we gotta dig a little bit deeper. So yeah, I hope this was of value to you guys, and definitely put it into practice and let me know how it goes for you, or whatever your thoughts or suggestions are down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to respond. I will see you guys in the next video.